Iran versus Israel. How does this end? The recent direct military exchanges between Israel and Iran mark a significant escalation in a long-standing shadow war and proxy conflict. How this ends is highly uncertain, with several possible scenarios, each carrying significant risks. Here's an analysis of potential outcomes. 1. De-escalation and return to covert proxy conflict. How it might happen. Both sides, under international pressure and facing domestic costs, might opt to pull back from direct confrontation. Iran, in particular, has reportedly sought a ceasefire through intermediaries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Oman, contingent on Israel halting its strikes. Russia and Turkey are also engaging in diplomatic efforts. Outcome: the immediate overt conflict would subside. However, the underlying tensions and rivalry would persist, likely manifesting again through cyberattacks, targeted assassinations, and renewed support for regional proxies. Houthis. Iran's proxy network has reportedly been weakened by recent Israeli actions. This is arguably the most desirable short-term outcome for regional stability, but it wouldn't solve the core issues. 2. Sustained but controlled escalation. How it might happen. Both sides continue limited, calculated strikes, aiming to degrade the other's capabilities without triggering an all-out war. Israel might continue targeting Iran's nuclear program and military infrastructure, while Iran could respond with further missile and drone attacks, potentially increasing the intensity or targeting economic assets. Outcome: a dangerous mowing the grass scenario where hostilities become a new normal. With intermittent but potentially damaging exchanges, this carries a high risk of miscalculation, leading to unintended full-scale war. Economic consequences would be significant, especially for global energy markets. 3. Full-scale regional war. How it might happen. A major miscalculation, a strike with high casualties, or a perceived existential threat could push one or both sides to unleash their full military capabilities. This could involve direct attacks on critical infrastructure, military bases, and population centers, and could draw in other regional and international actors. Outcome: catastrophic for the region and potentially the global economy. Oil prices would skyrocket, trade routes could be severely disrupted, and a humanitarian crisis would unfold. The involvement of the US would be highly likely, as would potential responses from Iran's allies. This is the worst-case scenario. For focus on Iran's nuclear program. How it might happen. Israel's primary strategic objective remains preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Recent Israeli strikes have reportedly targeted nuclear facilities and scientists. If Israel perceives Iran to be on the verge of a nuclear breakout, it might intensify its efforts to dismantle the program, potentially leading to a larger conflict or a more focused, sustained campaign. Outcome: even if successful in delaying Iran's program, it could harden Iran's resolve to pursue nuclear weapons, or lead to a nuclearized Middle East. If Iran eventually succeeds despite the attacks, the environmental and health concerns from attacks on nuclear facilities would also be significant. 5. Internal instability or regime change in Iran. How it might happen. Sustained Israeli strikes, coupled with economic pressure and potential internal discontent, could weaken the Iranian regime. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has even suggested clearing the path for the Iranian people to achieve freedom, hinting at regime change as a long-term goal. Outcome: highly unpredictable. A collapse of the Iranian regime could lead to a power vacuum, internal conflict, and significant regional instability, similar to the aftermath of Saddam Hussein's fall in Iraq. or Gaddafi's in Libya. This could create new challenges for neighboring countries and potentially open new avenues for radicalization or external interference. Key factors influencing the outcome. U.S. role. The U.S. is a critical player. Its willingness to support Israel, provide intelligence and advanced weaponry, or engage in direct military action will heavily influence the conflict's trajectory. President Trump's position and willingness to de-escalate are crucial. Iran's nuclear program. The speed and perceived success of Iran's nuclear enrichment efforts will remain a central trigger for Israeli action. Regional proxies. The ability of Iran's proxy groups to recover from recent Israeli blows and launch effective counterattacks will impact Iran's response strategy. Economic impact. The global economic consequences, particularly on